Hi, everybody.
That's a boner noise.
Okay, this is going to be a carnival of random. And I want to get through the intro. Sir, first show is spring, so of course it's snowing all over the place out. We have as one guest a big bag of Tootsie Roll Pops in honor of a great man. And our guest, actually, now we usually have co-hosts, so the guest, boy over here, boing, scared them all off. But he came roaring in the parking lot. Somehow he comes in the parking lot, comes out, he's got a styrofoam cup of coffee, didn't spill a drop.
Who loves you, baby?
It's a triumphant return of Baron Litvak.
Thank you.
Now, you celebrated an anniversary.
Yes, sir.
And how did, just go back for a little roots, how did the whole genesis of the Rumble start?
You know, I would have never thought of it in a million years.
We did the show, I can't answer the question for
right,
you.
well, I'm leading up and building. This is like a dramatic, you build up. Anyways, my nephew was one of the founders of the station, my nephew-in-law, and we were at his house for some holiday, and it was the winter. And I always thought he mentioned I should have a radio show. And he always said...
I'm laughing at your intro thing.
Boing. Anyway, so he always said, I don't know what you're talking about, but it turns out it was like a friend of his. And we were hanging out, shooting, shucking and jiving, and he said, dude, you need to be on the radio with us. And I was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, my wife was like, yeah, you need to be on the radio. Yeah. And I'm like, to do what? Well, you know all this stuff about music. You play guitar, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't have to audition. I just got, what's that word? Nepotism. I got nepotized in.
Lily Winwood's term, this is great because Lily was Steve's daughter, and I got to know her. She's on the show. She made the comment, in terms of the nepotism pull, I got the shitty end of the stick.
Normally, it was what I would expect.
It's like, what's her dad do? It's like, I'll come out when you're touring, Dad. Okay, you can tell sell T-shirts. Yeah, but the thing about Lily, though, I'll say, like, she is, you could think, I've heard stories, like a friend of mine went to St. Lawrence about, celebrities' kids with spoiled jerks they are.
Yeah.
She's like, super chill. So Steve did a good job.
There's always one or two, and just by.
And I don't feel like we complain about nepotism, but then if I had like that rich uncle worth $40 billion,
I'd be kissing his ass big time, man.
Like you're my favorite.
He'd never see my head. It would be so far up there that I'd be shoulder man.
Yeah. I mean, it's life. It's like nobody's perfect.
But on that, he trained me, which was a good. I don't know how I got through that first show. I sat and listened to him do a show for an hour. Didn't show me anything, just looking. But, it's a mixing board, which I was never, like the sound guy, but I kind of had an idea of, the sliders and stuff. And the next time, like the next week, I went for more training. And about halfway through, I'm like, I'm playing CDs. Why are you teaching me all this computer stuff? Oh. Anyways, boom, I'm there the next Saturday. I was supposed to be there on Thursday evening, but they wanted me to open for Armand, which I said, okay, cool. And 3-4 songs in, gets up, you're doing fine. Give me a call if you have any problems. And he fucking leaves. Like, where the fuck are you going, man? He said, oh, you got it, man. And I got it. I got through the first show, got through the second show, got through the third show, and 6 years later, here I am.
That's partly, too, because CDs can stick. You do have that.
That's part of life, and that's happened. But, it's like Johnny Carson. If you fuck up, you make a joke about it, and you work with it.
You keep going, too.
Yeah,
it's like,
definitely.
I know in theater people, you never just stop.
You can't stop.
You don't.
And you can't have a melt. You can have a funny meltdown.
Well, I've had those on this show.
Yeah, well, it's harder for me because I can't swear. So
I mean, like Greg's out like tending the rabbits and making pancakes. I can't make butt of drummer jokes or bassist jokes, which are even better sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. But I think all it comes anything like that or like what we do here. it's just doing it after. You know, I mean, you get the technical stuff you have to do.
Well, that's
I just have to show up.
That was my big concern the first few shows. I wasn't very talkative because I was too busy like going, hit this, turn this down, hit this, turn this up, hit this, turn it back down, and I wasn't thinking, you know, and talking at the same time was just too much. So.
And you're a professional too, because like me, I come here. It's like, who are we having as a guest this week? What was the person's name again? What are we doing? Now, you do research. Like, I just say, it's coming off the top of my head. If I'm wrong, look it up.
Right. Well, most of the stuff I know, but I don't know. I guess as I'm getting older and all the drugs I did, the dates fuck me up. Like, this was released in 1970. And I hate that, being on the air and going...
I'm like that, too, because I'm actually weird
So
with
I've been
dates.
making a cheat sheet.
I'm sort of weird with dates. Like, if I hear the year someone was born, I usually remember. So if I say something, but you never know, like, one song like that, it's actually it got me, like the Rolling Stones. Andrew Goldham put out that song, 365 Days of the Rolling Stones one year, 1964. That was a leap year. That bothered me. And I'm probably the only one. Can you imagine anybody else? This guy's on some heavy drugs.
Or he's just out of his fucking mind.
Yeah. Or like Hollywood Nights. Okay. Brilliant movie.
Brilliant movie.
All right. But how did they ruin it for me? You probably might believe and guess. It's near the end. They play Mr. Tambourine Man by the Byrds, which was out a year later.
Right.
And now who else would be...
Yeah.
You know, dude, you watched Newborn Park. You watched the one-armed violinist in your last...
Sasha Davinsky.
Sasha Duba. He grabbed it.
He grabbed it with his dick. What?
No, and I think also was when you came into, like, I think part of, like, why we do what we do is we wanted shows to do that the way we wanted to. Now, granted, you gave me, like, $500,000, I'd be pushing... I'd be pushing like Pop and American Idol, but we have to sell out for a while. But we just wanted to you wanted to play what you wanted to play.
Yeah. It'd be nice.
Was that from the beginning, though? Like, did you, like, sort of, like, just go, I'm going to play what I want, or did you have, like, an idea? That
started when I started playing guitar. This goes back to when I was 17, after I've been playing not quite a year, and I was like, hey, I don't think I'm good enough to play. I should get a band. Yeah. What am I going to play? Well, I was going to fucking start playing, like, Journey, shit like that. I'm like, my first band, we played the Dolls, we played the Stooges, the MC5, Ramones.
Oh, well, we are doing this show for duty
and humanity. So, you know, right then I was like, well, even if I get great at guitar, I'm not going to make any money. All right, I'm cool with that. I could work, I could deal drugs, I could do whatever on the side.
The statute of limitations are
off. That's just way gone. This is, 110 years ago, but...
And we are like those rare purists. I mean, there's a couple things about us. One, like, in terms of, like, okay, Journey, not my favorite band.
Right.
I can say, and I've been called names because of that. One person accused me of ruining their childhood memories.
And rightly so.
Yeah, but, so, okay, if you're going to go see them, they're like, I remember, like, in Toronto, $200, like, for front seat. $60 now.
For a basic tribute act.
If you're going to go see them now, for me, like, we're huge Blue Oyster Cult fans. I won't see them now. Because it's like Blue with two guys cult or whatever, 3. But I would say you missed your window because, it's too bad. Like, I saw the Ramones, thankfully. I grew up, I'm old, but I saw some good bands.
Yeah.
But you go, there's like 2 guys in Journey. There's a tribute band singer. There's some other guys. So you're seeing, basically, you're paying all that money. It's your money. Do it if you want. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. Now, I did hear a horror story now about ZZ Top. One of my friends saw him, and I hate the song Legs anyways. And, I love ZZ Top. Their 80s stuff. If I went back in time, I'd go, dudes, I'll put you on an island for the 80s. But, they did what they did. They made money, and they seem like cool guys.
They're really cool guys.
They said Billy Gibbons. He's like, you just could tell some guys, you meet him, you don't want to meet him. But, you ever meet this boy.
I'd want to meet Billy Gibbons. Yeah. I'd like to hang out with
for me,
Billy.
his big thing was, like, with Rocky Erickson, because I'm a huge Rocky Erickson fan.
Yeah.
I guess, like, when they did Legs, at least they were using vocal tracks.
As opposed to...
Like real singing like you do.
Oh.
Because I guess like at a Kiss concert recently, somebody put a video up, Paul Stanley singing, goes back,
still singing. Yeah, they really... What happened? Well, I know what happened to them. They got rid of Ace and they got rid of Peter.
People don't appreciate like Ace at all. I think that's the thing. He was the sound.
He was why I didn't pursue the drums. Well, probably also because there's no way my mom would have bought a drum set.
So that's the one thing I can't do. It's like the one...
It's
I was
hard.
just using one hand, like,
right.
as a kid, but I could never do, like, I played a little bass.
You ever do it with your hand and your foot? And a chicken?
This is why this show, unlike his radio show, we can't do that. We click the mature audience button. But the thing was, like, I could never do the two hands. Like, I would be doing this, then, like, and I would stop. Because, like, all really crazy people play bass, I guess, because that's what I played. But I think, like, with Kiss, too, I think Peter got into a car accident when he was, like, 19. He had nerve damage in his hand. I've heard that. That's why it affected his drumming a little.
Who knows?
But, I mean, I think you got to know when to stop, too. I think, like, that's the thing about us is we're self-aware.
Yeah.
I mean, we see people out there who do, like, stuff that we shake our heads at. How can you put this stuff out?
When we're kind, we shake our heads.
Well, I told this story many times where I went to see a band called Shiny Toy Guns because my friend wanted to go, my friend Stephanie. Hi. So I get there early. It's at Water Street. Now, I didn't realize, I mean, they were all right, but it was like more of a kids type thing, younger kids. So I'm looking like a narc hanging in the corner waiting for my friend. And I'm waiting. The opening band, who was not a local band, they come out. Now, they got lab coats. They went the Isotopes, obviously. But they come out. They sucked in every way. Now, this is just me. If you're a fan, whatever. I thought the presentation, the songs, I mean, there's a way to present. You don't have to jump around. In fact, Colin Blunstone, to me, was one of the ideal singers. We just stand there.
Yeah.
But they were just uncomfortable. They didn't know how to do the crowd. So, of course, me at the right moment, I just go, God, this fucking sucks. Just as they stopped the song and it was quiet. Everybody's looking. I'm going, I'm going to check all you. Badge.
Wow.
But, I mean, I can't get, and if I stunk at something, and I've been told this is fairly good at least, that I wouldn't do it. And I get some people that are deluded who, it's amazing, like, they compare this as a Steely Dan something. And you hear their stuff, and I always love, there's always the worry, and some of the best stories I ever have, like a couple of my friends with bands auditioning people, when they would get the person coming in, and it would be how great, as soon as you heard how great they were, get ready for a train wreck.
Well, luckily, I've done that so many times. You first have to pass the phone interview before I even want to, like, you know, if I'm, like for the Tombstone Hands, and I was trying to put together an instrumental thing, you know, my first question is, if it's a drummer, how many pieces do you have in your kit? Well, 20, or whatever, 15. No, you're not the guy. What do you mean? You don't even want to hear me? No, you have too many drums. I know what you're going to sound like. I want someone with like 3 or 4 drums, period. Well, I'm better than that. Well, if you're really good, you only need 3 or 4 drums, man. Just, you know, between us. And, you know, of course, they get pissed off I'm an asshole. But
I always figured that one, too, like for a joke like Spinal Tap or something. Okay, you got 2 hands, 2 feet, and maybe if you're well,
right.
You know. You got this drum set bigger than the studio here. How are you going to play everything?
Well, if, you know, it's to tell you, if, you know, there is music that's perfect for, but not for what I was wanted to do. You know, not for 3-chord garage rock. You know.
No, I think it's like the old principle: keep it simple, stupid.
Well, that's
I mean, that's rock and roll to me. It's like I love classical. But rock and roll, I've always used the Faces analogy where they're drunk, they're sloppy. It's not supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be, you know, don't take it too seriously.
Or you become a pretentious twat.
Yeah.
That's me? I thought I shut it off.
No, I never do. Remember, this is like a goofy show. We never shut anything off or anything else. But so you went on. Now, has the format changed at all, or you just...
What, my show?
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't listen to it in 2016.
No, it's basically
17, 18,
it's basically the same thing, except at the beginning I was playing like one song per artist like everyone else.
What the heck is this? Okay, this is bizarre. Nothing. Only with you on the show.
JB?
Yeah.
I got it too. I think it's getting our leg pulled.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe not.
So we have to switch to an important topic. You, our holy trinity, of course, Lee, Chuck, and Telly. But you become, it's Telly time every morning, and your thoughts on the great man.
Well, as I just bought the huge box set of the first pilot movie, all the episodes, I'm almost done with season 3. And then there's like the made-for-movies.
And they're not bad. They're actually...
The made-for-TV movies.
He doesn't embarrass himself. They're actually good.
I remember seeing one or two that were pretty cool.
I saw one with like missing kids, but there's one where there's like a runaway Greek girl, and but they're not embarrassing. Where it's not like you go like, obviously you don't want to watch Yes Virginia, there's Santa Claus by Charles. You don't want to watch with John Boy Walt. There's an Irish cop.
Oh God. But
hey, he lost Jill Ireland. He probably wanted to work. Or whatever.
Yeah, he was lost without her.
But he should have had like the.
She was like the June Carter to his.
He could have gone up to. He should have gone up to Santa. Believe in Jesus.
You're gonna meet him.
I told you, you're like the only person who can relate. Like people would be staring at me because after Death Wish 3, I'd be going around, killed the giggler man.
Giggler.
Not right. That's not right. But that other weird movie where the guy would like take all his clothes off and go try
Dennis?
Tend him in. I don't think that was his name in the movie. Might have.
You sure?
I don't know. But the Holy Trinity. But now the thing with Kojak, and I that's what I guess I'm fairly okay with this show because I love to like delve into history and get the backstory. And you were saying the name Kojak. Okay, why the heck were they using Kojak?
Right.
As a name. It turned out originally the guy who wrote the idea of the cop, he was a Polish cop.
Right. Yeah, I was asking why they use that name, and they're pushing that he's Greek on the show because he tells you about us. And then you did the research.
What was that one though for combat where you texted me and I texted you back? Wait, what's with that stash? I'm like, what's he supposed to be? But he was Greek, I think. But he had the stash.
Yeah, he was
like
Greek,
French or something.
Yeah, that was a hell of a stash.
But he comes on But my thought was, I'm so surprised. Maybe I missed it. I don't think I did. I'm surprised, like somebody like during one show they go like Kojak, I'm Greek, baby. And he could explain it was like Kojakalopoulos or something, and his parents changed it when he came to the country, or something like that.
But I always thought like Litvak, Kojak. I'm nowhere
near.
I'm nowhere near Greek, so. And then you did your history, and it was Polish originally.
Yeah, it was 1969. They came up with the pilot, but now we know though this is of course.
And it was a book.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name because I've been seeing it at the end.
I've been trying. I would love to get those. Like there was actually the Kolchak files, Night Stalker, which is based on trying to find like these like books like that would be great. Just to see how the characters, because if you read the James Bond books, it's actually Connery's the closest.
Right.
A lot. And this is also as a tribute. We have our only guest who's got like our Tootsie Roll Pops. But Tootsie Roll Pops came about. It's interesting too because there were a couple stories. One of them was the police like some female cop saw him and said that that gives the cops a bit of come on, this is the South. Everybody smoked like a chimney. And if you want to see a great one, Battle of the Network stars Telly's captain Bob Conrad. These guys are men. They take it seriously. During the track meet, Telly's got a gym shirt. He's got shirt down. He's got gold chains on. And he's smoking a cigarette during a track meet.
It's like that picture of Len Dawson, which I have. Yeah, he's sitting on the sideline with a soda and a beer, or not a beer, and a cigarette. I got a show poster for that.
My view on that too is like those guys. Maybe they weren't, but they were tougher than the guys now. These guys were like. That's what I guess Jack Lambert, like a couple of my friends, big Steelers fans, Jack Ham roomed with him, said all he did the night before he was chain smoke and drink beer before the game.
I loved the Steelers when I was a kid.
Because of them. Steel Curtain and everything.
Steel Curtain, Mean Joe Green.
Jack Lambert, I think he kicked some guy in the balls. But there's the one. But I guess like the whole story of the lollipops, supposedly, you know, the famous. Actually, Steve's been charting the flavors too. That's how serious we are about this. But he goes out. He's got the cigarello. Now you said he smoked like I saw the cigarellos. Did he have something else besides cigarellos?
He had cigarettes, but after I don't know. Mostly since season 3, it's mostly either the cigarellos and the lollipops. I haven't seen the cigarette. Because he had, like, the whole thing working originally.
It's a classic scene, though. He got the cigarette, he puts it away, pulls out a Tootsie Roll Pop. And the story goes, Telly didn't quit smoking, but he wanted to cut down.
Right.
So he started switching to Tootsie Roll Pops.
Which is why he was doing both on the show.
And then the observation you made, isn't it cool, like, when you grew up in New York City, to see all this stuff? Like,
I love it, because this is like when my grandparents still lived there. Like those cars, and 48th Street was a total shithole. That was so much fun.
Well, yeah. I can tell this was like 30 years ago. I lived in Alphabet City.
Oh,
I remember
wow.
the piss by Shea. Like, it smelled like piss.
Yeah.
But this is awesome. It's like one of those Tom Waits stories in my apartment. Nobody would rob you because they knew if you lived there, you had no money.
Right.
So first day I'm in there, cops break the door open. I get held against the wall at gunpoint. I'm like, welcome to New York, dude. And the guy goes, I guess someone was shocked at Alphabet City dealing smack.
Really?
There, we promised we'd talk about smack.
Yeah, that's right. Here it comes.
And the guy just say, oh, we didn't have a warrant or anything. Go sue us, see how it happens.
Yeah, good luck.
This is like 30 years. Probably still looking for me. I'm going outside the studio. I feel like bad lieutenant. You don't want me to tell your parents? You're going to do something for me.
We didn't touch him.
No, when I pinned against the wall.
No, Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
That was like the cool thing. He never actually did anything.
I thought of the same in my twisted mind.
Yeah.
It was, well, this wasn't bad. He could have done a lot worse.
No, he could have done a lot. Most cops would.
Plus, she had her eyes closed when he was doing the chicken bit.
That was a
was
hell.
that the scene though, or like I said, like the one I could call, like I told John Waters, like in Pink Flamingos. Yeah, everybody knows the turd scene.
Right.
I was grossed out by Edith Matthews with cotton, and she's this woman in a little chip, cotton, and you see the Eggman, and he's like, you were grossed out by that. Like, yeah, it weirded me out. I had nightmares about it.
And her in that one piece leather thing that was like, up the side was exposed, and it was, I don't know if it was that movie,
But I saw, but the scene though when he's just snorting coke and the grandma walks by and gives him the look and keeps walking, that was like the scene that got me. But you made some great observations though about Kojak, about
the
especially,
finger.
Yeah, see now this happened. Watch closely now. Jimmy Doohan in his autobiography has a section called "Giving Hitler the Finger" because he had a finger blown off in the war, and if you try, maybe they didn't really have effects, you just don't see it. But Tally's got like sort of a crooked.
Yeah.
I guess there was a birth deformity. I thought because he was in WW2.
Right, but I noticed there was a tiny little, it's like 3/4 size, and from the knuckle it gets real skinny for that last little part, but I noticed there's a nail. So I assume it has, you don't get a finger blown off and then put a little nail on it.
No, it's just...
Even if you're Greek.
Yeah. No, he'll make a lot of points about being Greek in there, too. But you've noticed, like, the car... There's something about the... Only Tally could do it in the car chases. Speeding pursuit. It's New York. Nobody stops.
Yeah, that's what I love. He's got the siren on. And they might just move a foot out of the way, left or right. And they're screaming down the road, and nobody's pulling over.
And he comes out, no coffee spilled, always styrofoam.
It's always styrofoam.
Always styrofoam cups. The Crocker!
But there was one I saw recently. He pulls in, and he's got it in his lips. In his teeth. That was pretty freaking cool.
And didn't you say, wasn't there one out in the desert with banjos?
Yeah, I just saw that. They went to, they were in Las Vegas. This was all early season 3. They went to Vegas. And then the next one, they were like 2 hours out of Reno in ass fuck Nevada, in the middle of nowhere, where chickens are really nervous. So all this open space and dusty roads, you gotta have a 70s car chase. And the brilliant producers put in the 70s car chase music. Like something with Burt Reynolds. You got the acoustic country thing, and all of a sudden there's a banjo. Kojak's doing, spinning his tires, flipping up dirt.
But what I love about the show, too, is just Kelly's great. He's like, people don't appreciate what a great actor is. Play any role, like, with scalp hunters, over the top bad guy.
He was so great over the top stuff. But
Kelly's Heroes, which is both of our favorites,
right.
the opening scene with him.
And even Battle of the Bulge, he's over the top. Guffey, Sergeant Guffey.
Young Savages, which is like about New York. This is you would just like for New York gangs in the 50s. Burt Reynolds. Kelly's like a prototype Kojak cop.
Right. He has the clink hair still.
Yeah,
and he had the clink. What was the other one?
The doll from the Twilight Zone. He had the clink hair.
No, the one with Gregory Peck that they remade with De Niro.
Okay, Fear.
Yeah, he's like the cop that helps him out, Gregory Peck, and he's got the clink hair in that too.
His bald's better for him. Actually, I want to watch his.
He was like the only white bald dude. Well, Yul Brynner, but that was it. I mean, there were no really white bald guys.
You know what? That's a good Egghead.
Yeah. Well, they were comical, and then there weren't that many black dudes either. There was Curly from the Harlem Globetrotters.
Who is awesome. I love
Curly.
Curly's great.
And then Isaac Hayes.
No, because it was the Afros. I thought it was like
but one dude was the bald guy, Curly.
Remember the bad guy? He played a lot of, I don't know his name, he's a black guy. He played a lot of like bad guys. So he's the black guy with the sunglasses. He was like in a lot of those blaxploitation movies, but he's always played sort of like the bad hustler guy. He had like the shades and thing, but he was the one bald guy, and I can't remember his
Bill
name.
Duke?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Bill.
Wow, oh shit.
Yeah, that was one. But now you have to, before you start writing in and wondering what our relation, we have this thing, because Devil's Rejects, the chicken seem obsessed with it. I could do the whole scene.
You can do the whole
which
scene.
Is horrifying.
It's pretty amazing.
It's our in-joke and everything. So, like, we have our we call it the meeting of the mindless, our coffee meetups. The people in the room tend to move after, like, half an hour of hearing us.
Yeah, but we haven't been asked to leave yet.
Soon.
Yeah, actually, we're overdue.
Yeah, well, this weather and stuff and
weather.
health reasons, like we've been both dealing with the bleeding noses from the weather.
Yeah, falling apart.
That's just us doing everything. But it's one thing is now the power of live music for you playing and listening to it. Like, I always want to describe the vibe. There's just something about playing live.
Yeah, it's like. It's hard even to describe to
I've always used, like, for me, because I'm actually, if you don't know me, believe it or not, I'm actually sort of quiet. But, like, I could never do a joke with my theater friends. I'd love to just come out for, like, one line. I'd probably goof it up. I'd probably, like, come out just about to say, Lieutenant, you have your message for you, so I go, the cornflakes are in the castle, something, because I would freak out and stutter or something.
Drop your lines on the floor?
I was Grandpa Bunny in an Easter Bunny play, like in...
Are there pictures of this?
It was in grade school.
Oh, okay.
That was my one thing, and it was like a sock puppet up here. I was a town crier sock puppet on one grade school play, but, it's tough stuff, though. It's like getting up there in front of people, and I think but they get the rush from it.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to zone out and everything.
Yeah, which is hard when some guys in the band aren't, like, holding up their end.
But you really, like, in terms of the audience, too, do you even pay attention, or, you check the feedback, or you're in your own zone?
I mean, if it's both. If it's a really good show, like now with Andrew on the bass, and I don't have to worry about anything, like you'll see pictures of me actually smiling when I'm playing instead of grimacing. Even when I'm, trying to do the guitar face, I'm doing the guitar face bends, I'm still smiling a lot. Because it's like, so...
We scared another one away.
Who's running the...
Chicken in there.
Who's running the bus? But no, it's when I'm like, especially when I'm doing leads, like improvising leads, I just get lost, man. It's like unbelievable, and I'm like hearing shit going, did I just do that?
You ever practice your improvisation?
Yeah, lately. Think we get together and work on the improvisation part?
Yeah, we did this before the show. But one of the things, too, is I've seen this with bands, and I've read this in a lot of books, where, yeah, you get to a level of confidence, but there are those shows just when it all clicks.
Yeah.
And I remember Herb Smith, one show I saw him at, he comes out after he plays this song, and he goes, we played this song, but we just did something fucking magical this time.
Yeah,
you just look at each other and you just get in the mood. You just like...
I've said, like, in a few bands over the years, once in a blue moon, tonight at 11:45 Eastern Time, we were the best fucking band on the planet. We'll go up against anyone. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not later, but for that 5, 10, 20, half hour, we were so fucking on. And especially when you just jamming away. And it's one thing to, play structured songs, which is cool, but we do a lot of, we'll just, get to the, it's kind of, we're almost like a jazz band, because we'll play like the song, the theme, and then, I get to the solo, and now that we have a great bass player that locks into my great drummer, I can, do anything. It's amazing.
But that's the thing, too, is, I know, a lot of stuff you play. You will play, some shows, their format, you'll get the 3-minute song, which is awesome. And there's some bands I'll go see, they'll play, 30 songs in an hour. Or a couple other bands I'll see, they'll play 5 songs in 2.5 hours. And it's equally good.
We do all of that. Mostly longer, though.
But there's that whole thing like that, and I think that, but for me, for live albums too, I want them live. I don't like the ones where there's a break between songs and it's edited and everything.
Right.
I want the mistakes. I want all the. Now, I've never heard this one. Joni Mitchell's somebody who's somehow just flown off my radar. I guess in her live album, you can hear her she starts a song over because she blew it. She's
I love when they do that, because that shows that she's I'm human.
And I heard, I guess, the cheap trick from the Whiskey album, which I would like.
That box set.
Boku dinero at the moment, though. But I guess, a friend has it said, they goof, they just improvise, play off, and just say, oh, well, play this. It's all sloppy. It's all... That's what you go to a live show for. You don't go out and stay home and listen to the record.
Exactly.
That was okay, Eagles fan or not, that was the thing with Don Henley. Don Felder called him the guano bat. The guano bat. Said you had to play every song just like on the album.
Yeah. And some people, that's what they want. They go to shows. What are you looking at? A clock?
No, you're the first guest who's pounding a bag of Tootsie Roll.
I only ate 2 of them. I thought I was doing pretty good.
This is the first guest, too, who's ever been Tootsie Roll popping the whole time.
No, they never said, oh, wow, looks like here's a banana. When did they get a banana? This has got to be the best thing. Banana Tootsie Pop?
You never see. These are mini, so you can eat more of them.
I guess.
I wonder if
they offered so many flavors. It used to be orange, grape, cherry, chocolate.
Remember the chocolate
and raspberry.
What's Tally been sticking with? It's usually the chocolate or the grape.
Yeah, now I've been seeing either cherry or raspberry the last couple of shows.
So I'm wondering if he had he just said, get me a bag, baby.
Yeah, who knows? We're going to have to dig deeper into this.
That would be
was there a Tootsie Pop guy or girl?
I don't know if he would just send somebody out to the 5 and dime store and they got a bunch of them.
Possible.
Or maybe if he was doing it in real life too, he brought his own.
That's possible too.
Imagine having an autographed Tootsie Pop of Tally.
Right. We signed the wrapper. And we're styrofoam cup.
No, he'd be like I said, Charlie Bronson. A friend of mine ran into him, got his autograph. He'd be somebody I would just fall over my words for, though.
Right, but Bronson is also I'm just imagining if you met Savas, you'd be a fucking riot.
Yeah.
But Bronson would be nice but quiet and reserved.
That's exactly how he used to say. Said he was actually a really nice guy, but he's just a real quiet man.
Yeah, he'd probably appreciate that you want his autograph in 5 seconds.
Oh, he's very nice like that.
Yeah, but you're not going to get come sit down. Or I'm sure Tully Savas, if you caught him in the right mood, if he just won at the casino and he's liquored up pretty good, he'd be your best friend. And
you'd be buying him drinks
it
at
would
the
be
bar.
Funny as shit.
You'd be for 20, you find you like 24. You come roaring into cars through traffic with a siren. He's going to dump you off. He's loaded, baby. But I think Lee would be the same way, though. It's like that picture I put up on Facebook, and Warren was laughing like Warren Oates. Like, what did Lee say?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine hanging out with Lee Marvin?
Well, supposedly that could go either way in the book I read.
Yeah.
If he was in a good mood and your friends, he was like the best. But if you pissed him off, man, and he was drunk, you'd really you'd be fearing for your life.
There's a story I love to tell, the one where we went to the acting studio at Lee Strasberg, and they say, okay, I want you to demonstrate, okay, you're a soldier dying of gangrene.
Oh, right.
So
right.
he just sits there like this. And Lee Strasberg, why is he going, and let's remember, Lee Marvin was a Marine vet who got shot in the ass.
Shot in the ass. But doing Marine Raider stuff.
Yeah.
Coming a couple of what are those little rubber boats, with 2 or 3 guys in them.
The PTs or
those little.
Yeah.
And they'd come in. He did one tour. They came in the island. There was 4 those little paddle boats with 2 guys in each. And they, slunk ashore into the bush and, took out a couple of, machine gun nests with knives. Just killed the guys. And then took out a couple more guys, and then a sniper saw him and started shooting, and I guess pinned him down. And he was moving to come in and, throw a grenade or something. He got shot in the ass.
He was laid up almost a year.
Yeah.
But so Lee explained, he said, if you get gangrene in the end stages, you feel nothing.
Yeah.
And it was a case of, well, how do you, I wasn't.
Right, I saw it.
And I would have loved to hear what he said with to Strasberg when he left the room.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
I can imagine.
That's the funny part, you can imagine how. But for live albums, too, what would you say, some of your favorites are?
Oh, God.
Now, I don't, I hate the top, what's the best, but I know, we both love Gonzo live.
Gonzo
is
the
thing I'll
template.
say about Ted, I think, he goes, I think he does it, honestly. Probably has some core beliefs. I think he does a lot over the top. He's the kid who he's older, he wants attention.
He wants to still be relevant. Yeah.
And sometimes I try, unless you do something really heinous, I try to block that stuff out. It's America, you could say what you want.
Right.
But if obviously you molested a kid or something, no.
They married a chick.
Well, that was the 70s. So
and he got the parents to okay it. Talk about genius.
Now we're getting into bed.
Well, it was the 70s.
That's the thing. Some people just don't, I think if you just take life so seriously.
I was going to say, fuck it. If you can't take a joke.
And you could take, basically anybody you like Jimmy Page and these guys. You would have, your record collection would be Christian rock, and some of those dudes were I guess Striper. I heard the story about these guys, they were all on drugs when they were doing this stuff.
Of course they were fucking, it was a gimmick, probably. But, I just did that jailbait. I thought, how could I possibly do lower than my theme, my Salute to Heroin show? And my theme was, all of a sudden I noticed all these bands have a jailbait song. They're there's zillions of them. So that was my high point of lowness so far.
Make sure you listen to this before it gets demonetized. No, I know, but
Rock and Roll Rumble every Saturday.
I would text Steve and go, dude, I listened to a Kiss song. I don't think Gene was in it for duty and humanity.
No, he was in it for pussy and money.
Yeah, but another one, another weird genre, 50s, early 60s, was the teen death drop. There were tons of them. Leader of the Pack.
Oh, right,
Last Kiss.
Right.
And I have to say, for Darwin Awards or Love Story, Teen Angel, because you go back to your car to get splattered by a train to get a high school ring.
I know.
The dude's probably cheating on you. You're not going to know him in a couple of years. And then I'm being my own warped brain going, well, once the car got plowed, they could scour the area and probably find the ring.
Right. Now you're getting into blood rock territory.
Yeah, Norvis who would do that kind of stuff and everything.
Yeah, those are cool songs, man.
Yeah, you know what it was, too? I'm thinking, okay, what was the pastime? James Dean had died. What was the whole thing of, the kids, the hot rods and everything. So it was probably taking a topic like that to use.
Yeah.
But I know, reading about, Chuck Berry, those 50 Rockers were another brand of insane.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I think they had to be if they were another brand. And it's amazing, like, reading about, like, them and, like, the early Stones. Every show was a riot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was incredible. Thinking about it now, like, people were feigning, rushing the stage.
Right.
Which I've probably done for you a couple times for other reasons.
Yeah. Probably can't even talk about that on
They'll leap over Mick leap over Charlie's drum set to get away from
it must have been something. I'd love to be able to go back and see something. I'm just dying someday to get Time Machine.
Well, could you imagine, though, like, okay, Fats Domino seems like a mellow dude.
Right.
Love him. Mellow
Everyone
dude.
loves him.
Mellow dude.
The Fat Man.
Yeah, that's my theme song for years. But, so what he did, tour got canceled. There were 4 riots during shows, during one of his tours.
Really?
You have, like, one of his keyboardists, they're rioting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a new thing, man. That's what was so cool about it.
That's our thing now, too. We're sort of like dinosaurs in terms of the music we like. Like, a lot of new stuff doesn't do it for us.
No, and you know, and there's a lot of cool bands. Most of them are in Europe, but, you know, that do, like, the 70s, early hard rock stuff, but...
Well,
I'm still discovering.
One of my good friends, Harley Hills. He's like a great, the EH man.
Yeah, I know Harley.
You know, he's at one of your shows when I asked like a member of your band I won't name, I want to buy their CD. Where's it? Oh, there's a lot of CDs they have here. Okay, I asked somebody at the bar and they got me one, but he comes in with H man and I were talking. He goes, "This is my favorite band."
Really?
And you and Dino Boys.
Yeah, we played it. That's the CD I have, actually. It's the Funkin' Waffles gig. Yeah, this is the night, March 8th, 2018.
You know what? They sound like you a lot in this way, okay? It's grimy.
If we had vocals, we'd be doing a lot of the same
it's
stuff.
Harley, it's somebody else I don't know. I know
Mike McGee.
Okay.
Great guitar player.
Actually, somebody told me Ryan Hurley told me his name.
Mike McGee.
But what they do is like you. They do covers. And now, I'm fine with doing covers. Tribute bands, I have a little...
Yeah.
But like Harley told me, we're going to do these songs the way we want to do. So you get the Live at Leeds Young Man Blues, which is probably like 20 minutes long.
Right.
And they just rock out on it.
Yeah.
And they do also like War Pigs and everything. But they rock out.
Doing the early Kiss, Alice Cooper.
Yeah. And I will I'll argue about, like, in terms of Kiss, they're, like, especially their first 3 albums.
Yeah.
I mean, they were dirty, they could play, like, Paul Stanley said they became H.R. Puff and stuff on ice, like during Dynasty or whatever.
Oh, up to, like, Love Gun, still had some cool stuff, but that was it for me. Like, up to Alive 2. Well, Rock and Roll Over was a great album. I kind of just rediscovered that a couple years ago. A lot of people really like call it their best. It might be their best studio.
I'm so bad about, it's like, what day of the week is it that I change my mind?
But I'm just like, do I really like it? Yes. Or do I really not like it?
But, hey, remember, now your CD is the best endorsement I've ever heard, because it was like, first of all, I had my dad listen to the Rumble, Whole Lot of Shake, and he's like, I'd play the Rumble, he's like, what the hell is this guy? And then all I had to do was to make, he loves the Stooges, but he tried to eat your CD, which was, I think, now you could, and he's a bologna and onions man, so
am I.
So good to eat. So good to eat, but what Harley told me, we were hanging out one night, he goes, like, his first album, can't go wrong with this one, was you don't want to, like, hear, like, some, like, hard rock, or it's like, what was your first album? Why aren't you looking at me? What's your first album? Soundtrack to Grease. No, but he got, one of my first gigs, my neighbors, they're like, they want to treat me. Oh, we're going to see Up with People. No, just don't. No. It was like horror. It's like John Denver on crack, basically.
I kind of vaguely remember.
No, you don't want to.
No, I don't. Because I think I was, like, pretty young. It was all about, like, upbeat.
Because I was like one of those guys. I love
feeling groovy,
but I always had this feeling Minnie Pearl's like a dirty old lady or something. Because anything that's too wholesome, anything that's people who are upbeat, they scare the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Because I always think this because like we're like miserable sods and stuff. But so I'm talking to Harley, and I'm like, first album I ever bought, I went to Live at Leeds.
Really?
How can you go wrong there?
Mine was We're an American Band.
No, see, I'm sort of my dad used to go to Gold Circle every week. My mom had this weird fixation where we got distilled water for making tea. I can't figure that out still.
Really?
I still don't know why. What the heck? My mom was odd. She would put bacon on turkey, which we weren't supposed to have technically, last name. But she was eccentric.
That's probably, she was ahead of her time, because now they put bacon on everything.
Everything. Sour cream, everything.
Yeah, my grandmother was like that.
Sour cream. Well, it's like you've heard the joke about the Jewish mother, right? Like, there's a beggar going around. I was up to, excuse me, ma'am, can you help me? I've been eating in 3 days. She goes, well, force yourself. You got to be growing up with them to know it. But, that was, like that. But my dad, so he endorsed you.
Yes.
And I think you have to find your own way. And I think eventually, like a lot of people, you might start out and just follow you find when you follow the crowd, life sucks. You just stop caring.
Yeah, it's boring.
And you get like the boring average people, and they don't like you anyway.
That's true.
Let's be honest about that.
Yeah.
But then we have our own things like for our movies and everything, where we like the same type of movies and everything.
Well, you watch more modern stuff, though. I'm kind of still stuck.
Yeah, but usually I love when I find an older movie I've never seen before.
Oh, that's the best.
The best, because there's still so many out there.
And that's also like why I don't get into all these modern bands like from Europe and stuff. I'm still finding these like obscure 70s
I love
bands.
that. I know, and I find one of the things to me that got me was like culture shock. I saw it with Sam and McHale on. I was at the Bug Jar, and I'm going. The term I started back in my day, and back in my day. I've been saying that lately because, like, remember when gigs started, like, at 1 and everybody was bombed, including the band, back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
But I was talking to them, and I realized, look at Michaela, and I go, oh, my, okay, Sam would have been 1. I go, oh, my, you must be kidding me. I've been going here since before you guys were born.
Yep.
Like 3 years old or whatever. And I found it because it used to be Rosie's.
Oh,
and
right.
I was at Priam,
right.
In an apartment on Priam Street. We were down there, and I was like, oh, there's a new place. And one of my friends goes, you got to look at this place. It was like all the stuff on the ceiling.
Oh, right, right.
It was like sort of like a dance club or something in the 90s. I didn't live here in the 90s.
Yeah, I just moved.
Actually, Oz told me. I was like something.
I moved back like in 90, like the ass end of 89, and then right like in March, actually, this month, I got clean, and then I like hibernated for 10 years. So, yeah, it was already.
Yes, he had not washed in decades, and he finally got cleaned up.
Yes, finally, and now it's a rite of spring to get ready for the annual bath.
Yeah, which is awesome. Actually, my mom's, her grandfather. They used to wash in pennies. It's supposed to bring you good luck. But on New Year's Eve, I never met him. He would take his annual bath on New Year's Eve for the year. There was this one.
Wow.
Talk about like the old days, the old country and everything.
The mountain guys. That's when they wait for the spring thaw.
Yeah, which actually this is our spring show, so of course it's cold out. And I drove past somebody coming in who was that person who. A little drop of rain, snow, and they drive 20 miles an hour. Right.
Even though they grew up here, drove here their whole life.
But you have something coming up, though, don't you? Plug. Did you want to plug something?
I'm not sure what's going on, though.
This is a definite maybe. We'll say maybe.
Yeah, we're supposedly have a gig coming up for one of our show hosts at Rochester Free Radio. Great guy, Uncle Slosh, who passed away last year. And I'm not sure exactly. It's going to be like a lot. He was like a big metal dude, and he did like my band, and we got to be pretty good friends. So hopefully the Tombstone Hands are going to be playing. I think it's April 8th, and it's definitely.
We'll post it up like when
I could look,
official.
But it's
that's cheating on this show.
Yeah, I know.
So 20-year-old pup, shut up.
Okay.
No, don't shut up. I don't want to.
It's definitely going to be at Pineapple Jack's, which I really like playing at.
I do know they like a lot of metal there.
Yeah, and when the first time we played there, Bart, the owner, his mom was hanging out, she fucking loved us. When we started doing, like, Hendrix stuff, she was, like, freaking out. Why don't you have guys like this all the time instead of this hard banging?
No, but I always see, like, my friend Jane Evils, like, plays there. They have...
Yeah, that was his... They were kind of like a couple for years, but... Yeah, she... like actually, she filmed us the first time we played, doing my Hendrix tribute I wrote. I came up with it.
It's an interesting place, too, but first of all, it's like... I go in, I had a Bruno Sammartino shirt, and the door goes like, Bruno, yay, Bruno!
You fit right in.
Yeah, I did it on purpose. But the way it's situated, too, is you can go, like, if you don't want to hear these psychos, I don't know why not, there's a bar and a TV, like, with all the stuff, but then it's separate.
Yeah, there's, like, 3 areas.
Which is awesome, which I like in a way, because it's like if you go to the Firehouse and, like, if you don't want to see, like, some bad comedian. Now, he doesn't remember his name either, but, like, he saw some guy one day.
The worst comedian I ever saw in my life. That was so bad. It was hysterical. And he, of course, thought we were laughing with him, egging him on, but
now, if that was an actor, like Andy Kaufman, when he would pretend like...
No, yeah, this was real.
No, I think I'm wrong. The Firehouse, though, they're the one... Because I haven't been there in a long time because of the C word from 2020. But they have the stage separate. Yeah,
it's kind of like also like the my favorite place to play, the Rose and Crown. It's like, a lot of times we'll play to one person, and we get done with a song, and there's like everyone at the bar going, yeah.
No, one of your gigs, actually, you were so freaking loud, I was at the bar because a couple.
Oh, yeah, that's another reason we changed. And we're really not that loud.
No, I don't know if it's me, but I was telling Amanda and Casey, like the last Fox 45 gigs, and I would have put them in maybe the top 5 for loud. But the last gigs I'm going, I don't know if I just got old, I just don't care anymore, but it didn't bother me.
Well, I've been scaling my amps back constantly because they don't want you to play too loud. And when I was 18, I'd say, good, fuck you, here's my Marshall stack. But now, if it's a cool bar, I want to come back.
But the one, now it's sort of odd disappointment was Reverend Horton Heat, because by now I'd heard, like... He used to preach. Jim Heath used to do the preacher act. Right. But I've been told by a couple of people that these are just I've seen Motorhead.
Right.
Actually, last time I saw Motorhead, they weren't that loud either. I didn't think.
Oh, I saw them at the Penny Arcade.
The last time I saw them at Penny Arcade, there was like somebody. I would run into people I knew. I'd see like Elvis Structor. I'd see Falardo. Then I'd see security throwing some dude out every 8 minutes.
Yeah, that was the 80s.
But the last time, and the best part was Lemmy had the cigarette, but I didn't think it was that loud. But the one gig, sorry Lemmy, wherever you are, that I didn't pay. I get to the parking lot, I stayed in the parking lot because it was so loud. You could hear it like at the parking lot.
Well, when I saw him with Brian Robertson at the arcade,
another perfect day, great album.
Yeah, they had they're used to opening for bands in big, hockey rinks. So that's what they had on the Penny Arcade stage. Yeah. My fucking hair was blowing back, man.
Security, there's like it's raining out. I'm talking to the security guy, and they had it set up still. So we're out in the rain. He goes, "You're going to see it was $30 or whatever." It's like you're going to see like an arena show with the big amps and everything.
Yeah.
So, but I've heard the Reverend Horton Heat. They were brutally. But when I saw them, I've seen them more than once. Love talking to Jimbo.
Yeah.
They were average sound wise. Not really loud because
he uses like what I used to play to, a Fender Super Reverb. It's only 38
I don't know.
watts.
I heard stories years ago.
Well,
so
it's all through through these mega 1,000-watt PAs.
And I'd also heard AC/DC was really loud. And that's like one band I've never seen.
Really?
It fell through the cracks. Like it would turn out I wasn't here. Now, honestly, to be honest with you, my 80s.
Well,
I saw a lot of bands.
I wouldn't go see them in the 80s. I'm like a Bon only dude.
But I saw Bon only too for me. I never saw much. A lot of the stuff I saw for like a couple of decades are a bit of a blur. But like I say, like for my shows, that was the one thing. Partied a bit, but go to a concert, I'd be straight because I wanted to see the music. Now I had friends, if you saw the Wayne World movie, that dude's partied out. I remember seeing friends passed out in the show.
Yeah.
No, why are you going to a show that you would take notes at these things?
Yeah.
Before you had your Coke and your Pepsis or
right.
Your
Well, it was, I'm going for like a guitar lesson. This is how I learned to play, by watching and listening. And we didn't have fucking YouTube back then, and there wasn't that much rock and roll on American TV.
What, like maybe Night Flight, I would say?
Yeah, but that was like it. It was
Night Flight. I
and
had tapes of that on VHS.
Don Kirshner.
Yeah, Don
and,
Kirshner.
Most of that would be crap.
Was it Don Kirshner, though? I think he's the one.
Burt Sugarman's Midnight Special.
Oh, yes.
But those were...
great.
Yeah, but, those... There'd be, like, some great bands, but then there'd be, like, these horrible top 40 ones.
Yeah,
so you didn't...
Solid Gold or...
Yeah.
Wasn't there... But I might be wrong. Wasn't Don Kirshner behind Fake Rock a little bit, though, in the 60s? Wasn't he... He's looking at the Beatles, Stones. Didn't he create, like, the Archies and, like, some of these, like, the Monkees?
I think he had something to do with that.
Because he figured I could come up with these, like...
Yeah.
Bands and everything.
Yeah, I think you're right. I forgot about that. Unless that was Burt Sugarman.
Could have been.
They're like interchangeable. But...
See, at this point, only thing I think at this point, Alan Klein was a bad. Sounds like a very bad man. Some of these record producers and stuff.
Yeah, it was, same as today. Fuck the artists.
Yeah. Well, it's like the same. One of my favorite movies is The Five Heartbeats, and I heard it's about the Chi-Lites, really. Where, they try to screw over, like, the musicians. Where it's a black group.
Right.
They're really good. They come in, so they get a song to the record company. And it's sad because, I mean, at the end, they have to go to, like, a company that this guy is just a total crook.
Right.
Shock of shocks, right?
And he owns the publishing.
But what they do is they go, the guy goes, oh, we love your song. So they come in, oh, yeah, we're going to record it. They come in, there's these 5 white dudes in Letterman sweaters.
Yeah, that's what happens. Like, look, speaking of, Fats Domino. They gave that song Blueberry Hill to Pat Boone. And he had the big hit.
Yeah, that's what they would do. I read, like, about Van Halen, like, the contract they got when they came out. And they were lucky they just even got out of it because they would have been, it was in perpetuity. But they just managed to weasel their way out, thankfully, because it was a joke. But you know what it is, too? I think a lot of times you're an artist, you just want to get recorded.
Right.
So you sort of sell your soul. I think.
Yeah, and if you're really into music, you don't want to be a businessman.
No.
So,
which is a sad way in a way because you come back and you find out
you're fucked.
Yeah.
But if you're really smart, you have someone you could trust. But that's why the Stones were so great because Mick went to
but
school.
The thing was, the funny part was, like, I reading Bill Wyman's song. This dude's a dirty old man.
I'm dirty old man.
He was a dirty old man when he was a young old man. But, so anyways, it's going on, so we're touring, we're selling out, our records are #1. I look at my bank account, -$33.
Right.
No, you don't get, like, I mean, Leonard Cohen got screwed over. It's rumor is Harrison didn't want to do that Beatles anthology, but he got bilked by his accountant out of, like, $25 million.
Yeah.
I'd like to get bilked out of $25 million, man. I had $25 million.
Right, exactly. But, it's, now with Spotify, I got my song on Spotify. Good, you get 3 cents.
I was joking to my
3 cents
one
or
of my
something
friends,
out of $1.
I'm a joke with one of my really good friends. Her single was like on the top 10 in Spotify. She's got it like. She's got some songs in the back, like talk shows. And so I asked her, it's like, oh, yeah, I get my 3-cent residual.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever hear the old story about John Cleese and Faulty Towers from PBS where he goes,
I know the show.
Yeah, every now and then I get my 18-cent check. I don't think he needs it, though.
I hope not.
No, but so what's for the future for the bear? And you're going to keep playing. I should keep rolling on.
Yeah. We're
like cockroaches at this point.
I'm hoping. I mean, the Tombstone Hands, we're fucking cursed, man. We are cursed.
Well, I'll tell you that quick story I told you about auditioning. There's the one. So friends of a band, I think every band seems to have like one instrument or like one person they have a problem with. Like, where they find like Fox 45, whatever. Like when they got Casey as a drummer, chemistry. But they'll have the one thing it's always leaving.
Yeah.
So they couldn't find a good vocalist. So they're trying. They're like asking me, like, I recommend you for the vocalist. Just be an asshole. But the guy comes in. He's all dressed up. He's like, and I guess he's like, he's like real arrogant. They know immediately what's going to happen.
It's
like, well, I'll come in around. You carry all your. He comes in. Oh, let's go. I guess he like takes the thing. Like, God. And I guess he didn't know like what he would do is every now and then he wouldn't know like just go rock and roll. And he was rock and rolling out the door. Or there's a guy you don't like, but the movie Tribute. There's one scene because there's like a Kiss tribute band. The guy who plays Gene gets too much in the character. No, he doesn't do that stuff. He actually, the demon side, he goes nuts. Burns his house down.
Is this a documentary?
I'll send it to you.
I've seen it.
Good.
I've seen it.
Okay, the one dude who auditions. There's the one dude who comes into audition. He's like, I'm here for the nuances. Right. And they get him. He's just jumping around. And like for me, I would be like so embarrassed I wouldn't like allow him to. And they're like, that guy sucked. And they show him packing his bass and going out the door.
There's lots of guys like that. That's the scary thing. I've seen that.
That's why I would never do it. I played some bass. I sucked. So that's why I became like behind the scenes and stuff because I'd be embarrassed. But how's it like in terms of like going forward? How are you? And it's still you doing cowpunk or? I
don't know what we're gonna do. Brian is, we knew Brian's our great drummer, who has ruined me because he's like my John Bonham. Like I can't do the band without Brian. He's irreplaceable. So
keep away from those 32 vodkas in a day, or 60, I think.
Yeah, well, he's moving on out of the town, probably another year. But, I knew we had a couple of years with him, and then we finally got the bass player. We got the perfect rhythm section. We jam a couple of times, COVID. Everything goes down the toilet. I finally have what I've been hearing in my head behind me. So... And then every time we're about to get back to do something, I get sick. Andy got in a car accident, our bass player. So I'm not sure what I'm not letting him go, though. He lives in Buffalo.
Which isn't honestly that far.
No, and he isn't, I can always stay over. It's no big deal.
That was that week. I was going down to the Mohawks someday. I think everybody there had COVID 1 week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I was going.
Yeah.
I don't feel like driving.
Right. He got sick. But he's a great guy. He's like, we just clicked.
Looks like Lemmy a little, too.
Well, he does a Motorhead. He has his own Motorhead tribute band, Iron Fist, who are actually really fucking cool because they're not like, they're like, they want their own, they're not like their own sound, but they want to sound like old Motorhead live.
That's my friend Pat Darius with his Ozzy stuff.
Yeah.
He gets always, because, the way he really took it seriously, and they would bring in, like, guys from War Pigs and other, the real old Sabbath. Like, he'd be doing The Wizard.
Yeah.
The only bad habit he would have, sometimes he'd see, like, an attractive woman up there go, show Ozzy your tits. Metal girls,
But, I don't know, we're going to either continue doing the instrumental thing, maybe some vocals and instrumentals, which would definitely help booking us. But I don't know. We're gonna just whatever happens is gonna happen.
I always think
but I'm not letting Andy go. If you're listening, Andrew. Well, no, not another Andrew.
He'll do Hammond, Oregon. He'll do Hammond, Oregon for you.
Trust me, I would love that, man. But yeah, I'm not letting Andy out of my life.
I think you just pursue like your creative stuff, though. I think if you were doing like an ABBA band, you wouldn't be happy.
No.
Now I can see you as Frida. but still, you wouldn't really be happy. But I always hope, like I've told that story tons of times about meeting Dick Dale, almost getting beaten up in the parking lot
right.
because we started talking. He's like, an hour and a half late. By the time we're best friends, he wants me to come over his house, big store. They're gonna beat me up at the end of the line. But I saw those kids from high school, and they're dressed like retro. I'm going, these dudes probably are hated. They dig their own stuff. I love it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be, whatever.
And I think you attract, you find people, all we need are little cult audiences. That's all we care about.
That's all I care about.
To listen to this show before somebody complains.
Well, if we play, and there were nights where we were playing and we started to break down early, and the bartender and the waitress wanted us to keep playing. And we kept playing. We played for another hour.
Now, I won't name names.
No, it happens to everybody.
No, I won't name names, but one of my really good friends, he's played in Spain. He's played with some bands, big audiences. It just was one of those nights, like in Dino. It was me and him.
Yeah, the weather's bad.
You know what,
there's some other big thing happening.
Which is cool because he's like, well, what do you want to hear next?
Yeah. And we
Beer
figured,
barrel polka, dude.
I'm schlepping all this equipment.
What you do? You count it as a rehearsal, too.
A rehearsal with a bar.
That's why I just actually listened to Tom Petty. They released the Fillmore.
Yeah.
And what they did was they did 21 dates. Their view was, okay, Tom Petty writes in the liner notes, dude, you got to pay tons of, even in the 90s, ridiculous. Park.
Right.
Everybody wants to hear the hits. We can this is going to be, okay, it's the Fillmore, it's small. We'll try one date. They play 21 dates, 30 days. They all sell out. This is going to be basically people coming into, like, our rehearsals. And they would do covers. They game. They just have fun.
It would be loose, yeah.
And it's always better than seeing the band up there. It's like, they don't want to be there.
Yeah, I can't. I don't get that. I never had that mindset.
No, and I've had, like, the best musicians I know, they'll, like, if you have 3 people or 30,000, they treat you the same way.
Yeah.
It's like I said about the Flesh Tones one time, and I've used it as an analogy. Kenny Rogers sold out the War Memorial.
Right.
There were like 30 people for the Flesh Tones when I saw them. They made you feel like you were the most important you were the in crowd.
Yeah, I saw.
It was so good too.
Remember Dan Baird?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I saw him.
George Satellites.
Yeah, I saw him with the guitarist of Jason and the Scorchers. They were at Abilene, maybe 20 people. Because it was one of those runs where they had, like, all these national bands in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you had to, like, pick and choose.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to miss that because Warner Hodges is, like, one of the coolest guitar players ever.
Yeah.
And Dan Baird's they're, just great. And there's, like, this circle of dudes that plays. They have, like, different bands, but maybe 20 people. And they played way over 2 hours.
That's like the old reading again about the Stones. Like, okay, Wyman said, like when they were hot, be sold out, big crowds. Then we hit some place, it would just be that place, 16,000 arena, we get 300 people. But no, you play for the love of it.
Yeah.
You do for duty and humanity and love of it. But this is, of course, we have to go on none of your business out there because this would definitely get demonetized. Our coffee meeting of the mindless soon in the spring. Yeah. Well,
after the right.
Whenever you see a coffee shop, you see people running out.
We're there.
We're there. But this has been, of course, you'll return. Well, maybe if we can. You don't scare everybody away next time.
I'll bring lollipops. No, you bring donuts. That attracts people.
Actually, one of our
guests,
our best guest is Frank Ashcroft because he missed a day.
Yeah.
So he brings coffee and bagels and donuts.
There you go.
The only thing is I drank like 6 of these big cups. then before I left, I forgot to do something and I'm driving home going, if there's a traffic jam.
Oh, God, yeah.
But what are we going to do? So we'll look forward to it. Again, remind everybody to tune in. Where to tune in? What time?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, the Rumble, damn it.
I know, I was kidding. Every Saturday from 1 to 3 on Rochester Free Radio.
Plus, if you ever see his ads, they got the Carnival page banned on Facebook from one of his ads.
Yeah, you could find all this crap about either my band or the show on my webpage on Facebook under Steve Litvak, Litvak.
Same dude who did, what was the movie, The Iron Cross or whatever?
Yeah.
What was that one movie?
Yeah. Anatole Litvak.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle Anatole. Oh, no, Iron Cross was...
what was the one you always said that's like the one, it was like a... Oh, was it? I thought it was Iron Cross. It was like some... No, it was one about the traitor or whatever, and I can't remember the name. Remember, I was trying to find it on DVD.
Oh, with the IRA?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to look that up.
Whatever, look it up yourself. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. That's the Irish movie. The Informer with Andrew McClagan. That was, man, what a great movie.
Let's see how we go off. That's why we could literally do 4 hours.
But RochesterFreeRadio.com, Saturdays from 1 to 3 or 106.3 FM, and then there's repeats. I call them Sunday night, but it's Monday morning at 2 and Friday morning at 2.
Show, you're going to get, you turn on like your regular radio. If you're driving for 2 hours, you get the same song in 2 hours. You will get something different every week, something unusual.
Yeah, I think I'm the only person that ever took, there's a famous picture of the Lone Star Club, where they had the Sex Pistols and then Merle Haggard. I accomplished that on my show. It was a very proud moment.
Before you say what we're going to play, I'll leave you with the stories I've told you many times, because we're so full of blarney, even though we're not Irish. We tell each other many real tales, but are insane.
Right.
But hey, talking about like a band, okay, Hayes Carroll, I noticed like on his tour now, he's selling out all over the place. Cool guy.
Yeah.
So he told the story when I saw him. He goes, okay, when I started out in Galveston, and the owner had a line, and it got away one time. But he's playing on Wednesday nights, and he goes, now, if any of you are in bands, just take heart, okay? I played at Wednesdays at his club. The bill was Wednesday nights, pitchers $4, $3.99 wings, and Hayes Carroll.
My best when I first moved to Virginia Beach, I'll never forgive myself for not finding a camera. We were called the Bogart Brothers. All you can eat shrimp, $9.99, and the Bogart Brothers.
But what are we going to play now? You brought something.
Well, most of these songs are long. We can play.
Doesn't matter. You can pick one.
Funkin' Waffles, our new rendition of Walk Don't Run. I thought it would be pretty cool.
Very cool.
Or you want to go for the Hendrix 7-minute?
You know what? You're going to have to tune into the show to hear which one.
Yeah, okay.
Lay off the
Jet Black and Silver, my Hendrix tribute.
You know what? We're just going to play you one. You can figure it out.
There you go. It'll be good.
And as always, thanks a lot to hear, Baron. It's been hilarious as always.
Thanks for the Tootsies, baby. Who loves you, baby? And Zappadap.
You ain't planning on. I ain't going to say it.
Nah. And Zappadap, Zappadoo, and like that, you know?
And the only problem is, the only thing I'll leave you at, if we ever somehow got Robert Plant, we'd be both saying he'd be saying how he was tripping and saw his purse in a movie. You imagine that question? I saw it stuck in your jeans.
Well, everyone saw it, but, it came alive because I was on acid. The song remains the same. The 20-foot schlong of death.
Then, as I'll leave you, as Robert Plant would talk to me afterwards, you were fine, mate, but that boy over there. Thank you. Do everything this week for duty and humanity. Auf Wiedersehen. Good night.
Don't let the bastards grind you down.
Grind you down.